women really fall for height, money, or a handsome face? Science tells a different story. One overlooked physical trait speaks volumes about strength, vitality, and health. And the truth might completely change how you think about male attractiveness, revealed here by intimate wisdom in a way you won't forget. For years, researchers have studied what truly makes men appealing to women. The evidence points not to wealth or status, but to a single body feature that consistently matters most. This video explores how science connects male physique with evolution, health, and relationships, showing why attraction is far more than surface-level looks. Supplementary scientific evidence. A significant investigation by Martinez, Harper, and Collins, 2019, offered compelling statistical insight into how male body features shape women's perceptions of attractiveness. The researchers discovered that strength in the upper body emerged as the most influential trait, explaining nearly 70% of the variation in attractiveness scores. To ensure accuracy, they used photographs where participants' faces were hidden, allowing judgments to be based solely on physical build. Other elements, such as height and overall leanness, were also linked to attractiveness, but their impact was comparatively modest. When all these characteristics were analyzed together in predictive models, the combined influence reached roughly 80% of the variation in women's evaluations. Taken as a whole, the findings underline an important point. Although several physical traits contribute to perceptions of male appeal, upper body strength consistently stands out as the most visible and biologically relevant indicator. 1. When experiments uncover the hidden secrets of the male body. In recent years, researchers have become fascinated with uncovering the hidden signals of physical attraction. A particularly striking study recruited groups of young men to participate in a carefully designed experiment. Each participant underwent detailed physical assessments that measured their height, weight, body fat percentage, and grip strength. Then, standardized photographs were taken in two conditions, one set with the men bare-chested and another with them wearing tank tops. Importantly, their faces were intentionally obscured to eliminate the influence of facial appearance. This approach allowed scientists to focus solely on the body's role in shaping perceptions. Once the data was prepared, two groups of women were invited to evaluate the photos. One group was asked a simple but powerful question: how strong do you think this man looks? The second group was given a different task: how attractive do you find this man's body? By splitting the evaluation this way, researchers could compare perceptions of strength with perceptions of attractiveness and see how closely they aligned. The findings were as eye-opening as they were consistent. Across both groups, upper body strength stood out as the most powerful predictor of attractiveness. Broad shoulders, a defined chest, and muscular arms were not only noticed but accurately interpreted as signs of real physical strength. Even without faces, style, or personality on display, women were remarkably adept at estimating a man's capability simply by the way his upper body looked. What makes this so intriguing is the precision of those judgments. Women didn't just find muscular physiques appealing in a general sense. Their ratings of attractiveness almost perfectly mirrored their ratings of strength. Men who looked stronger were consistently rated as more attractive, regardless of other factors like height or overall size. This suggests that the human brain is naturally tuned to read subtle cues of capability from body proportions, posture, and muscle distribution. From an evolutionary perspective, this alignment makes perfect sense. For most of human history, physical strength was directly linked to survival and protection. Being able to lift, carry, or defend could mean the difference between thriving and struggling. Women's ability to identify these traits visually and quickly would have offered a profound advantage. Today, in a modern environment where brute strength is less essential, these instincts still echo in how attraction operates. The body continues to act as a living signal, silently communicating vitality, capability, and resilience all through the shape of the upper torso. 2. Upper body strength, the silent language of attraction. When we talk about what makes men physically appealing, the conversation often drifts toward tall stature, lean waists, or even stylish grooming. But controlled scientific studies consistently show that one feature surpasses them all: visible upper body strength. In experiments where men's faces were hidden and only their torsos and arms were shown, women's judgments of attractiveness aligned almost entirely with how strong the men appeared. This finding reshapes our understanding of desire and the signals the body unconsciously sends. Think about the practical design of the human body. The shoulders, chest, and arms are the most outwardly expressive areas when it comes to demonstrating power. Even at rest, the width of the shoulders relative to the waist communicates a sense of presence. When developed through activity or exercise, the torso takes on a V-shaped silhouette that naturally draws the eye. This visual pattern is interpreted, often instantly, as a sign of capability and energy. What's remarkable is that women in these studies weren't guessing blindly. Their perceptions of strength, drawn purely from photographs, aligned strongly with objective strength tests like grip measurements. This shows that the cues embedded in muscle definition, body proportions, and posture are reliable indicators of real physical ability. Women weren't just attracted to a certain look, they were responding to authentic signals of function and health. The dominance of upper body strength as an attraction factor also carries broader meaning. Height, often celebrated in popular culture, explained only a fraction of attractiveness once strength was accounted for. Similarly, lean body fat levels helped but were not decisive on their own. Instead, it was the combination of muscular shoulders, a sturdy chest, and defined arms that consistently placed men higher on attractiveness scales. Even men who were shorter could outshine taller counterparts if their upper bodies displayed greater strength. From an evolutionary lens, this makes intuitive sense. In ancestral environments, a partner's strength signaled the ability to protect, gather, and provide. Choosing a strong mate would have improved survival outcomes for women and their offspring. These ancient pressures left an imprint on human psychology that persists today, even though the threats of predators or resource scarcity are far less pressing. Attraction in this sense is a biological compass pointing toward resilience and vitality. Ultimately, the body is more than just form, it is function expressed visually. Strength in the upper torso tells a story of discipline, health, and genetic fitness. That story is written in the slope of the shoulders, the breadth of the chest, and the contour of the arms. And it is a story women's brains seem wired to read with remarkable accuracy. 3. The V-shape, a blueprint of strength and balance. Among all the visual cues that shape perceptions of male attractiveness, one stands out for its elegance and evolutionary logic: the V-shaped physique. This form, defined by broad shoulders tapering down to a narrower waist, has fascinated scientists because of how consistently it shows up in cross-cultural studies of attraction. It is not simply about looking muscular, it is about the balance between width and proportion. When shoulders extend wider than the hips and waist, they create a silhouette that the human brain instinctively associates with strength, health, and vitality. What makes this preference so remarkable is its accuracy. A wide shoulder-to-waist ratio is more than an aesthetic marker. It correlates with higher testosterone levels, lower visceral fat, and better metabolic health. In other words, what women perceive as attractive is simultaneously a signal of internal well-being. The V-shape is like a visual shorthand for genetic fitness, showing not only that the body has been shaped by effort or activity, but also that it is functioning in a healthy state. From a scientific perspective, this preference has roots in survival. For most of human history, the ability to defend, hunt, and provide depended heavily on upper body power and overall health. A man with a sturdy chest, strong shoulders, and lean waist would have been more capable of protection and provision, both critical to family survival. Over generations, women who favored these proportions were indirectly selecting partners more likely to pass on resilient traits to offspring. Today, even in environments where brute strength is no longer central to survival, these instincts remain hardwired. The V-shaped torso still draws attention in gyms, on beaches, and even in ordinary social settings. It conveys capability and confidence without a single word being spoken. The slope of the shoulders and the narrowing at the waist act as an unspoken introduction, offering a first impression that blends aesthetics with biology. In essence, the V-shape is far more than a cultural beauty standard. It is a universal language of the body, signaling health, symmetry, and potential. It reassures the observer of stability and energy, qualities that resonate deeply at both a conscious and subconscious level. That is why this particular proportion has endured as one of the clearest and most consistent markers of male attractiveness. 4. Attraction shifts, short-term sparks versus long-term bonds. Human attraction is far from static. It shifts depending on context, intention, and relationship goals. Research has shown that women's preferences for physical traits vary dramatically depending on whether they are considering a short-term connection or evaluating a potential long-term partner. This dynamic offers a fascinating glimpse into how evolution has shaped desire in ways that balance immediate appeal with future security. When women are focused on short-term or casual encounters, physical features such as muscularity, upper body strength, and even height play a dominant role. These traits are powerful signals of vitality, genetic fitness, and physical protection. In this scenario, the visual impact of strong shoulders, defined arms, and tall stature takes center stage. The attraction is immediate, visceral, and linked to cues that suggest robust health and short-term reproductive success. It's the spark of desire, fueled by biology. Yet the equation changes when the goal shifts toward a lasting relationship. For long-term partnership, physical appeal remains relevant, but it no longer carries the same weight. Instead, qualities like kindness, emotional stability, reliability, and the ability to provide resources gain greater importance. These traits reflect consistency and security, essentials for building a stable family environment. Women in this context may still prefer men who appear strong and healthy, but those attributes are folded into a larger package that emphasizes trustworthiness and commitment. This dual preference makes perfect evolutionary sense. Short-term attraction favors signals of immediate reproductive success, ensuring strong genes are passed on. Long-term attraction, however, is about survival of the family unit, requiring emotional resilience and investment. By balancing these two modes of preference, women maximize both biological fitness and stability for their offspring. In modern society, these instincts are still active, though expressed in subtle ways. A man who projects strength and confidence might catch attention quickly, but it is his character and emotional steadiness that determine whether that attraction deepens into something enduring. This explains why some individuals thrive in casual dating scenes, while others excel in long-term partnerships. The qualities emphasized are different, and women's perception adapts accordingly. Ultimately, attraction is not a single fixed formula. It is a flexible system, shifting between immediate sparks and deeper bonds, driven by both ancient evolutionary logic and modern social needs. Understanding this duality sheds light on why preferences can change, depending on the relationship context, and why both strength and character matter in different ways. 5. When attractiveness mirrors health. It is easy to think of physical attractiveness as a surface-level trait, but research consistently shows that what we find appealing is deeply tied to health. Strong upper body development, for example, is not just a matter of appearance. It reflects measurable markers of well-being. Men with greater muscular strength in the chest, shoulders, and arms tend to have better cardiovascular performance, healthier blood pressure levels, and stronger bones. These indicators are not simply aesthetic. They reveal a system that is resilient, functional, and efficient. Equally important is the waistline. A smaller waist circumference relative to the chest and shoulders signals low levels of visceral fat. This type of fat, hidden around internal organs, is one of the most dangerous predictors of disease. Reduced visceral fat correlates with a lower risk of type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and even certain cancers. When women instinctively find lean waists appealing, they are not responding only to shape, they are recognizing, at some level, the absence of disease risk and the presence of good metabolic health. This connection between attractiveness and health illustrates an elegant alignment of biology. Traits that are visually appealing are also those that support survival and longevity. From an evolutionary perspective, this makes sense. Women who favored partners with healthy physiques would have been more likely to raise children with strong genes and greater chances of thriving. The body then acts as a living billboard, advertising not only form but function. Modern medicine reinforces this story. Studies consistently show that individuals with greater muscular strength live longer, suffer fewer injuries as they age, and maintain sharper metabolic control. Similarly, those with lower waist circumference enjoy healthier hormone balances and less chronic inflammation. These benefits stretch far beyond appearance. They influence energy, resilience, and quality of life. In other words, the physical traits we perceive as attractive are not arbitrary cultural inventions. They are reliable signals of deeper biological fitness. Broad shoulders, defined arms, and a narrow waist silently communicate strength, health, and vitality. Attraction, in this sense, is less about vanity and more about nature's way of guiding us toward partners whose bodies are prepared not only to look strong, but to live strong. 6. The power of functional training. When it comes to building the kind of physique that is both attractive and healthy, not all exercises are created equal. Isolation workouts. Those that target a single muscle group can shape definition, but the real foundation of strength and resilience comes from compound movements. These are exercises that recruit multiple muscle groups at once, training the body as an integrated system rather than a collection of parts. Take the pull-up, for instance. In one motion, it activates the back, biceps, shoulders, and core. Beyond sculpting muscles, it builds grip strength and enhances coordination. Push-ups, another classic, target the chest, triceps, and shoulders while engaging the stabilizing muscles of the torso. Rows and presses, whether performed with free weights or machines, deliver similar benefits, each move combining strength, posture, and endurance. The result is not just visible muscle, but a body trained for real-world performance. The beauty of compound training is its efficiency. Because multiple muscles work simultaneously, the body's energy systems adapt more completely. Cardiovascular endurance improves, bones grow denser under load, and metabolic function becomes sharper. This is why research consistently links strength training with better insulin sensitivity, lower risk of chronic disease, and improved mental health. The same exercises that shape the admired V-taper silhouette are also safeguarding long-term wellness. From an evolutionary lens, this synergy is no accident. Movements like lifting, pulling, and carrying are echoes of ancient survival tasks. Our bodies evolved to thrive on functional activity, and compound training replicates that demand. By engaging muscles in coordinated effort, these exercises remind the body of what it was designed to do: work as a cohesive unit, resilient and adaptable. Perhaps most importantly, compound exercises foster confidence. The ability to pull one's own body weight, press a bar overhead, or row with control creates a feedback loop between strength and self-image. This confidence radiates outward, subtly enhancing social presence and attraction. Ultimately, the path to both a healthier body and a more magnetic physique is not about chasing fads or quick fixes. It is about mastering timeless movements, pull-ups, push-ups, rows, and presses that harmonize strength, endurance, and appearance. These exercises tell a story written in the body, one of capability, vitality, and balance. And that story is as compelling to the eye as it is essential to health. The story of Liam and the V-shaped secret. Liam had always been the funny guy in his group of friends. He wasn't tall like Marcus, the basketball player, nor was he the sharp-dressed suave type like Adrian. But one thing began to change when he stumbled upon a study about male attractiveness and upper body strength. Out of curiosity, he thought, could building my chest and shoulders really change how people see me? At first, Liam laughed it off. He was more interested in gaming than gymming. But the article kept replaying in his mind. Broad shoulders, lean waist, strong arms. Not only attractive, it said, but healthier too. Cardiovascular benefits, stronger bones, even lower risk of diabetes. So basically, Liam muttered, bench press equals girlfriend plus longer life. Sounds like a cheat code. He started with push-ups in his tiny apartment. The first day, he barely managed 10 before collapsing like a pancake. His roommate laughed so hard that Liam swore revenge. Gradually, though, he added pull-ups in the park, rows with resistance bands, and even invested in a second-hand dumbbell set. Each week, the reflection in the mirror changed, shoulders widening, posture improving, waist trimming down. The funniest part, people noticed. His female coworkers suddenly asked, "Do you work out?" One even touched his arm during conversation, something that had never happened before. Liam, embarrassed but secretly thrilled, realized the science wasn't lying. Women could sense strength at a glance, and it wasn't just about vanity, it was biology reading cues of health and capability. One evening at a cafe, he joked with friends about his new V-shaped license to flirt. Everyone laughed, but he explained how the body communicates silently. Your shoulders tell her about testosterone. Your waist tells her about metabolic health. It's basically a resume without words. Of course, Liam didn't transform into a superhero overnight. He still lost breath on long runs, and his pull-up count stalled for weeks. But he had fun with the process. Each bead of sweat felt like an investment not just in looks, but in long-term vitality. 6 months later, Liam wasn't just stronger. He was more confident, energetic, and ironically still the funny guy. Only now his jokes landed better, perhaps because they came from someone radiating energy and presence. His story became proof that science and humor could mix. Attraction isn't magic, it's muscle, metabolism, and maybe a few pull-ups a day. Conclusion. Attraction and health in harmony. If the science of attraction could be summarized in one simple formula, it would be this: a strong upper body, a V-shaped physique, and low body fat. Together, these traits not only enhance male attractiveness, but also signal robust health and vitality. Broad shoulders, a defined chest, and toned arms create a presence that looks powerful, but the appeal goes deeper than appearance. These features are strongly linked to cardiovascular fitness, stronger bones, and greater metabolic efficiency. The V-taper, where the shoulders and chest balance against a narrower waist, serves as a visual emblem of strength and energy. A lean waistline also indicates low levels of visceral fat, which reduces the risk of diabetes, heart disease, and even certain cancers. In other words, what women perceive as attractive in male bodies often reflects genuine health advantages. Attraction operates not just at the surface, but as an evolutionary compass, pointing toward partners who embody resilience and well-being. By training to build upper body strength, maintaining a narrow waist, and keeping body fat in check, men can amplify both their natural magnetism and their long-term health. It's a rare win-win. Looking better while living stronger. Thank you for listening until the very end. If today's story has gently stirred your heart, whether through an old memory, a present feeling, or something never spoken into words, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Intimate wisdom is where we come together to touch the hidden corners of love, affection, and sexuality, things that may seem private, yet are in fact the very core of happiness. I wish you to always love deeply, live truthfully, and find yourself in every glance, every touch, and every trembling heartbeat. Affectionate greetings,